Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for Anime Uproar, and it's all finally being revealed. The National Treasure of Marijoa, Imu-sama's true power, the ancient weapon Uranus, the king of the world, Xebec, God Valley, Laughdale, Joy Boy, it's all connected. The end of Wano has given us an avalanche of massive game-changing reveals, and all the pieces of the giant One Piece puzzle are finally coming together. I don't think that many people realize what the reveal of Imu-sama's island-destroying weapon means for the ending of One Piece. This might have just spoiled the entire end of the story, so let's break it down. If you guys enjoy our One Piece content and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like and comment right now to help with the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't taken the time to subscribe already, do me a favor and click that subscribe button and then also the bell and select the option that says all. It is completely free and it really means a lot on YouTube. Before we get into it, a quick thank you to One Punch Man, the strongest, for sponsoring this video. You guys know I'm a huge fan of One Punch Man, and I am super excited for the launch of the brand new mobile RPG, One Punch Man, the Strongest. The game allows you to relive the most iconic and hilarious scenes in the anime, but you can also get over 60 in-game characters, including the heroes and villains, in order to create your own ultimate team. Seriously, you can put like Genos and Krablante on the same team, which is freaking hilarious. And the game features the voices of the original Japanese anime cast. It's like reliving the anime, but this time you're in control. The launch event is happening right now, and there are over 1 million pre-registrations already. New players who log in consecutively during the first week will be able to get over 50 draws, as well as other rewards including an old hand avatar and apprentice frame, the A-class hero Iairan, and a free character of your choice. So what are you waiting for? Dive into the One Punch Man universe right now. One Punch Man the Strongest is available on Android and iOS, and if you download it right now, you will be directly supporting this channel. Click the top link in the description or use the QR code on screen, and don't forget to use my promo code OPMTS. Fight alongside Saitama and be a hero for fun. Finally, this video will contain One Piece manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Ever since the mysterious being known as or Imu-sama was first introduced in chapter 906 of the manga, fans have been wondering who this being is and what are his or her true intentions. We've also been wondering how powerful this being actually is in terms of raw physical power, and how this figure may impact the story as a whole, especially as we approach the final arcs and the climax of the entire series. Imu's reveal was so shocking because after all that talk about an empty throne and the fact that there was no single king who presided over the world government, we suddenly learned that someone does sit on the empty throne. Someone does hold the position of king of the world. But the vast majority of the world just doesn't realize it. Imu is a being before whom even the Gorosei must bow down. And nobody besides the very upper echelon of the world government is even aware of Imu-sama's existence. And yet, it is clear that Imu-sama is the one who really decides what the world government should and shouldn't do, and who or what will be erased from history. Before the game-changing events of chapter 1060, we knew very little about Imu-sama and his or her true power. We knew that Imu enjoys spending time in the garden and playing with butterflies, you know, all the normal things that extremely peaceful and non-violent people do. We also knew that Imu-sama seems to have a special interest in 4 people: Luffy, Blackbeard, Vivi, and Shirahoshi. It is implied that Imu-sama's weapon of choice is a saber, because Im had seemingly used a saber to pierce through a photo of Shirahoshi. Finally, Imu is in possession of a giant straw hat, which has been locked away inside a massive freezing vault in Marijoa. During the Reverie arc, we saw Imu-sama sitting down on the empty throne as the Gorosei bowed down and asked Im to tell them the name of the light that needed to be extinguished from history. After that, Imu-sama disappeared from the story, but he or she definitely didn't disappear from the collective consciousness of the One Piece fandom. Because in the years that followed, we've all been theorizing left and right about Im's true identity, the full extent of Im's powers, and his or her true intentions and motivations. Would Imu-sama be the final villain of the story? the last boss that Luffy has to take down on his way to becoming the Pirate King? Or was Imu more of a political figure, like someone who doesn't possess real physical power but maintains control over the world with the help of the institutional might of the world government? Well, that question was definitely answered in chapter 1060 of the story, and that is when the entire fandom exploded as Im's devastating true power was finally revealed. Leading up to that chapter, we learned that King Cobra was murdered during the reverie, and his daughter Vivi disappeared. Sabo and the revolutionaries were being blamed for Cobra's murder as it occurred during their successful infiltration of Marijoa, and presumably Vivi was kidnapped by the revolutionaries after they managed to kill Cobra and rescue Kuma. But we all know that this is fake news. The revolutionaries did declare war on the Celestial Dragons, they did infiltrate Marijoa, and they did rescue Kuma. However, they would never have killed Cobra, who was a noble ruler and loved by his people, and they never would have kidnapped Vivi. We then see Flame Emperor Sabo attempting to contact the revolutionary command. He makes the call without using a white transponder snail, meaning that the call can be traced, and that is exactly what the Navy does. They trace the call and they relay that information to the Gorosei and Imu-sama immediately. Sabo is located inside the kingdom of Lulusia, one of the 8 countries that recently rebelled against the world government and joined the revolutionaries. During the call, Sabo tells Dragon that he wasn't the one who assassinated King Cobra, but while he was in Marijoa, he saw something terrible. He saw Im sitting on the empty throne, and he had managed to escape Marijoa with that important piece of information. But just as Sabo is about to reveal that the empty throne in Pangaea Castle is not actually empty, that there is indeed a king of the world even though there was never supposed to be, the communication is cut off. Those Marines who intercepted the message are informed by their superiors that they didn't intercept any messages from the Kingdom of Lulusia today, and that is because the Kingdom of Lulusia never existed in the first place. The sky over Lulusia is extremely dark at this point in time, as if some giant object was hovering right above the kingdom. And then, out of that giant object, 16 massive energy beams, or like laser beams, shoot out and destroy the entire kingdom of Lulusia in a matter of seconds, suddenly removing every trace of its existence in a single massive sphere of destruction. It is implied that Im is in control of this mysterious flying weapon, and that the weapon was sent there for the specific purpose of destroying Lulusia. Judging by what the Gorosei say, it seems that Lulusia was going to be destroyed anyway, and this was the light that needed to be extinguished from history. Sabo was just unlucky because he ended up on an island that was already slated for destruction, and so his attempt to reveal Imu-sama's existence only hastened that destruction. The implication, of course, is that Sabo and every single person present on Lulusia was destroyed in the blast. Now, personally, I think that it only looked like the people of Lulusia were killed, but they had already managed to be evacuated to a nearby island, and they simply witnessed the destruction from afar. That's because Sabo likely overheard that Lulusia was about to be destroyed when Imu-sama revealed which light needed to be extinguished from history back inside the throne room during the reverie. He overheard this at the exact same time that he learned of Imu's existence. Sabo then orchestrated the call to Dragon in order to make the world government think that he and everyone on Lulusia had died. After all, there is a reason why he didn't use a white transponder snail. He was expecting the call to be intercepted. But regardless of whether Sabo died or not, and he certainly did not, the power of this flying weapon which destroyed Lulusia in seconds is an absolutely massive reveal. First up, what is this weapon? Is this the ancient weapon Uranus, which was named after the Greek deity who was the literal personification of the sky in Greek mythology? That would certainly make sense, since Poseidon is the god of the sea, and Poseidon in One Piece is related to the sea. Pluton is the god of the underworld and the earth, and Pluton in One Piece is hidden beneath Wano. And so Uranus, being a weapon associated with the sky, clearly fits the pattern. Also, is this the secret treasure of Marijoa? That treasure that Doflamingo talked about as something that would allow whoever controlled it to rule the entire world. If the National Treasure of Marijoa is a flying weapon that can destroy an entire island in seconds, then yeah, it is definitely something that could be used to rule over the world. So, it is highly likely that this weapon is the treasure that Dofi was talking about. And as Arthur from the Library of Ahara channel pointed out, Dofi's own ultimate attack is known as the 16 Holy Assassin's Bullets, which could be a direct reference to the 16 energy beams or laser beams that Imu's weapon emits as it destroys an island. Finally, is this the same weapon that destroyed God Valley and wiped it completely out of existence and out of recorded history? Sengoku couldn't really talk openly about what really happened to God Valley, but we know that he didn't say that the island was destroyed with a buster call. So to me, it is clear that in order to hide the truth about what really happened at God Valley, Im used this exact weapon to extinguish it from history in the same way that Lulusia was just extinguished from history. So now that we know that Im possesses such an incredibly powerful weapon, possibly the ancient weapon Uranus itself, the question then becomes, what is Im's true identity, and what role will this weapon play in the remainder of the One Piece story? One theory about Im's identity is that he is actually Rox D. Xebec. Xebec had always wanted to become king of the world, and since that is the precise title that Im seems to hold, this theory states that Xebec actually wanted God Valley, but he faked his own death and then destroyed the island in order to hide the fact that he became the king of the world. I did an entire video on this theory, so I won't get into any more details here. I will just link the video in the description if you want to check it out. But there is another theory that is more popular. The theory that Im is actually an immortal being, a being that has been around ever since the Void Century. That frozen straw hat at Marijoa actually belonged to the original Joy Boy, and Im keeps it there as a sort of souvenir of his or her victory over the Ancient Kingdom. Im's possession of the Sky Weapon could also provide a clue for why the Ancient Kingdom lost in the first place, since the poneglyphs seem to talk a lot about the three ancient weapons. And since the Ancient Kingdom created these poneglyphs, it is reasonable to assume that the Ancient Kingdom also created the ancient weapons. However, if Im really controls one of the three ancient weapons, then maybe Im managed to use one of the Ancient Kingdom's most powerful weapons against them. In fact, maybe Im was once someone who fought alongside the Ancient Kingdom, but then he or she betrayed the Ancient Kingdom, stole Uranus, and used it to become the king of the world. At any rate, all of this may also give us a massive clue about the true nature of Laughtale, something that I didn't actually think about until my editor AxelBeats pointed it out. The red poneglyphs, also known as the road poneglyphs or the load poneglyphs, are said to reveal the location of Laughtale, the final island on the Grand Line. The idea is that if you know where all four of them are located, the point in the middle between all four of them will reveal Laughtale's location. To put it simply, if you connect all four poneglyphs with two diagonal lines that form an X, the middle of the X will reveal Laughtale's location. The X marks the spot. But here's the problem. One of the road poneglyphs is located on Zou, and Zou is located on top of Zunesha, and Zunesha is a giant elephant that is always moving. So, how can you determine the center point between all four poneglyphs if one of them is always moving? It doesn't make sense. Unless Laughtale itself is a moving target, an island that actually moves. The reason why Zunesha is forced to keep moving is so that the location of the poneglyph on Zou can continue to correspond with the location of Laughtale. And that fourth poneglyph, the one that is currently missing, may also be on the move for this exact reason. And if Laughtale is a moving island, then this would explain why it was never destroyed by Im's weapon, despite the fact that it contains information that could destroy the world government, and despite the fact that Im has had 800 years to find it and destroy it. Im's weapon has not been used on a moving target. It wasn't used to attack a pirate fleet or anything like that. It was only used to destroy stationary targets such as Lulusia and probably God Valley, which could imply that it needs to be stationary to function, and it may also need time to charge and discharge its payload, all of which seems to be done while the weapon is standing still. So, the epic reveal of Im's weapon may have revealed not only the third ancient weapon Uranus, not only the National Treasure of Marijoa, but also the treacherous truth about the ancient war and the true nature of Laughdale. And for those of you who believe that Luffy will eventually break through the red line in order to unite the entire world and create the all blue, well, Im just gave you a way to achieve this. If anything can destroy the red line, it is this flying weapon, with potentially some help from the other two ancient weapons, Poseidon and Pluton. After chapter 1060, a lot of people have focused in on Imu's strength as compared to the other powerful characters in the story. But it seems that a lot of people are missing just how badly Oda may have spoiled the entire ending of One Piece. The three ancient weapons, the fall of the Red Line, the truth about the ancient war, the moving island of Laughdale. All of the pieces are now falling into place, and as this is the final saga of the story, we can expect the reveals to just keep coming. After 25 years, it's all finally starting to make sense, and I can't wait to see how it all ends. What do you guys think? Is Im's weapon the ancient weapon Uranus? Is Laughdale a moving island, and that is why Im was unable to destroy it for 800 years, despite having a weapon that can destroy islands in seconds? Is Sabo really dead? Again, no he's not. But anyway, don't forget to leave your feedback down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. If you enjoy our One Piece content and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like and comment right now. And if you haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a big favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. Thanks again to One Punch Man the Strongest for sponsoring this video. Check them out, link in the description. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.